Four, three, two, one. What's up, everybody? Good morning. Monroe Mann here, YouTube #1 live streamer, doing another episode of Successful New Year 2025, based on my book, Successful New Year. And today we're going to be talking about week 4, Synergize everything. Before we go there, let's do a little quick review of what got us here, weeks 1, 2, and 3. So I'm going to read here. So now you have an overall plan with big dreams and ambitions. And that plan should be a lot more specific than it was when we first started out. What am I talking about? We started off coming up with our big dreams for our life, not just this year. What are our big dreams for our life, or lives, since we're talking about us in plural? And then we try to get a lot more specific on what those dreams were, because you can't identify opportunity unless you specifically know what you are looking for. So we created big dreams, we got super specific, and then now we're going to try to synergize everything. So it says, now it's time to synergize everything using a technique I developed in my book, Time Zen, called synergistic diversification. So for those who don't know, I wrote another book called Time Zen. I got a little thing flying off in the distance there. There we go. That's better. I wrote this book, Time Zen, the shortest and most effective success management system ever created. It's something less than 100 pages. Hi, Nelson. Good morning. First person here, you get a special prize, the Nelson Duenas Prize. The Nelson Duenas Prize. And we're going to be talking about that concept, synergistic diversification, today. That's the main topic. Again, there's one thing about having big dreams, and it's another thing to make those dreams very specific, but take things to a whole other level when you start to use what I call synergistic diversification. And that's what we're going to be focusing today. And as always, you should be thinking about, what did you accomplish last week? You can't really create a plan for this week or for the week moving forward or the month moving forward if you don't think about, what did I accomplish last week and last month? It's the only way you can analyze, am I on the right track? Did I make the right decisions? Have I been productive? Have I been lazy? Have I been staying on track? Have I been going off into weird directions that I shouldn't be going in? So that's when you think about, what are your last week's accomplishments and what are your last week's setbacks? And you can really think about, and you should write those down. If you have a piece of paper now, write down, what are my accomplishments from last week? What are my setbacks from last week? And analyze them as well. I'll do a couple of mine, just so you know. From last week, I'm just coming off some of my last week accomplishments. I did a couple of more YouTube live streams. I got about 10 new subscribers. I released a new coding feature on breakdiving. I did more live streaming on the breakdiving channel in order to get that channel monetized. I spent some time with my mom. What else did I do? I did some research to potentially go on a trip to Europe this May to my college's 55th anniversary in Lugano, Switzerland. That list goes on and on. I mean, in terms of my accomplishments, I'm a very busy guy, but sometimes, unless you take note of it, you don't realize what you did accomplish. And you've probably been more productive than you think. But in the rare situation, you realize, my gosh, I'm such a lazy bum. I did absolutely nothing this week. And Nelson wrote, nothing, but I will going forward. Exactly. It's helpful to acknowledge with confidence and zest, I am lazy and I did nothing last week. The good news is that the only place to go from there is forward. The only place to go is forward if you've been really lazy last week. It says last week's set, and you can think about what are last week's setbacks. Nelson wrote nothing. And then I have here in the book, next to the setbacks, is how can I improve or use this? Nelson already did that. He acknowledged, what is last week's setbacks for Nelson? He did nothing. How can he use or improve that? He goes, I will start doing stuff this week moving forward. And the big question is, what are you going to do? What are you going to do differently? What are you going to do to try to improve your life, to improve your business, to improve your relationships, improve your project, improve your sleep, whatever it may be? All right. Another question you always want to ask yourself, how has your overall situation changed? It's a very interesting question because a lot of times we create plans maybe a year ago or 3 years ago or 2 weeks ago, and we're still putting that plan into action today, but we don't even realize that our life situation has changed and that plan doesn't make any sense anymore. All right, Taha, you're going to be timed out here for 5 minutes because you're being annoying. Okay. Nelson's going for a job interview today. Awesome. Congratulations. Something I'll talk about, a little side note, is keep planting seeds of hope. Every single day, plant 5, 10, 25 seeds, meaning push things out, send off emails, make phone calls, go on job interviews, send off resumes, make your pitches, go talk to 25 people a day. Why? All of these things, you don't know when or if those seeds are going to bloom. But the more seeds that you plant today, the more likely that tomorrow, when your well is dry, suddenly one of those seeds is going to burst with life-giving water. There's an example. I keep applying to jobs on Wyzant, on Upwork, on this and that, blah, blah. I got a great gig on Wyzant. I didn't even apply for a job on Wyzant. I'm just listed on there, and I have a lot of good reviews. Someone got in touch with me. I'm now helping her son as a speaking coach at $175 an hour. And it just came out of the blue. On Upwork, I'm not getting paid that high amount yet. But a job that I applied for $50 an hour 3 weeks ago, I thought it was dead. I went on the interview twice, didn't hear from them. Yesterday, I heard from them and said, hey, after interviewing everybody else, we decided we want to move forward with you. So this is the benefit of planting seeds of hope. Even when you're miserable, even when life stinks, keep planting your seeds, because then when you need them the most, they're going to start to bloom. So I'm excited that you're going on your job interview today, Nelson, because this means you're planting a seed of hope, and maybe you get the job, maybe you don't. Maybe you hear from them in 2 weeks. Maybe you meet somebody through that job interview that helps you in the future. Maybe something happens on the way to the interview, on the way home, where you find another opportunity. It doesn't matter. Just, there's an expression my friend once said, Marcus Leonard. I haven't seen him in 20 years. I don't even know where he is. But he used to say, his philosophy of life is say yes. And the idea would be, just say yes to opportunities because you don't know where they're going to lead you. Now, that could get you in trouble too. You don't want to say yes to absolutely everything. But the general concept makes sense. It's kind of like this idea of every day plant seeds. Every day say yes to yourself. Every day say, yes, I'm awesome, which means if I send off resumes, something good is going to happen. If I go on job interviews, something good is going to happen. If I go out of the house today and start talking to people, something good is going to happen. That's another good tip. If ever you're feeling depressed or sad, just go out and go into a social environment. Go to a bar, go to a restaurant, go to a pizza parlor, just go walking in the park where there are going to be people, so it forces you to talk to other people. Because just being able to talk to other people, it inevitably put you in a different mood. Let me just check the see if I got, did we get a new subscriber? No new subscribers. So sad. All right. So going back to how has my overall situation changed? You cannot blindly implement a plan based on a life or business situation that existed a year ago but no longer exists. I want you to think about, some people think, and it's easy. I get in this rut too sometimes. Oh my gosh, nothing has changed. I've been just living here in Miami Beach for the last 4 years. The situation hasn't changed in my life. Nothing has gotten better, blah, blah, blah. But that's not true. If you really sit down and think, Monroe, how has your life changed in the last, let me turn on this light. How has your life changed in the last, forget about the last 4 years. Let's just talk about the last year. It's changed a lot. Last year, this time, I did not have a monetized YouTube channel. Last year, this time, whoop, I have to sneeze. Wait 1 second. Oh, yeah, come on. Don't you hate it when you have to sneeze, but you can't sneeze? I really want to sneeze. Give me a sneeze. Give me a sneeze. And I didn't sneeze. So annoying. Arr. But last year, I didn't have a monetized YouTube channel. Yes, last year, I wasn't halfway towards monetizing the second YouTube channel at Breakdiving. Last year at this time, I hadn't completely upgraded the Ruby on Rails backend for breakdiving. Last year, this time, I didn't know how to use LinkedIn as a marketing tool to help get new members to join breakdiving. And last year at this time, we were struggling with this Airbnb up in Maine that was driving me absolutely crazy. That's gone now. I mean, even if you think that your life is exactly in the same situation that you were last year, it's not. You've probably improved in a lot of ways and things are different. Even if your life hasn't improved, and it probably has, it's different. Nothing in your life is exactly the same as it was 1 year ago. Your life has changed in some ways, which means your plan for this year needs to be very different from your plan from last year. Now, maybe you do an analysis and you go, no, my life has not changed at all, not in one way. That's fine. At least you now know, okay, the plan that I created last year is not working. Because if nothing has changed in your life in the last year, nothing, then whatever your plan was last year stinks. Or your plan was really good, but you're lazy because you didn't put it into action. So really think hard, how has my overall situation changed at all? And the next corollary of these next two questions, what must I continue to do from last week that is working well? And what must I do differently from last week that needs to change? All progress in life is based on this. It's figuring out what is working and keep doing it, what is not working and stop doing it. Okay, let's get to synergistic diversification. So, by the way, thank you for the likes. We have 4 likes so far. Double tap the screen. If we can get up to 10 likes, we got the bronze medal on the YouTube live stream Olympics. The week 4 kick in the pants. Synergistic diversification. What does that mean? First, what does synergy mean? Synergy means bringing everything together. Diversification means spreading everything out. So, synergistic diversification allows you to spread out the risk while simultaneously pursuing multiple dreams and linking them all together under one umbrella. Basically, we're combining the portfolio risk management technique known as diversification with the clearly proven efficiency principle of synergy. Since we don't know what projects are going to succeed most quickly, it makes sense to spread our energy out into a number of different projects, hoping that one of them will take off like a rocket. This makes sense because while most of us believe we know with certainty that our project is going to succeed, the reality is that there is no way to know until we try. In other words, it's far better to invest $20,000 into 5 different projects with the hope that even one of those projects that succeeds than it is to invest $100,000 into one project that ultimately fails. And I'll summarize this in my own words. Well, I guess this is my own words because this is from my book, Successful New Year by Monroe Mann, but I'll summarize it in different words of my own. Too many people say you need to focus on one thing, and that's your secret to success. That if you focus just on one thing, that is what's going to guide you to success. And I always say, what if that one thing that you focus on fails and you lose absolutely everything? So I think focus on one thing is probably the stupidest thing you could do in your life. Look at this YouTube channel. Just a couple of months ago, I used to be getting 20, 30, 40, 50 people into my live streams. Now, 1, 3, 7. It's like the last week, it's been consistently under 10 viewers. I don't know why. If I had focused all of my energy and everything into just this YouTube channel, I would be in trouble right now. Never focus all of your time, energy, or money into one project because it could ultimately end up with you losing absolutely everything. So, but at the same time, it's silly to spread yourself thin by doing 5 million different things and have them all be unrelated. So the question is, what do? The answer is just what I'm talking about, synergistic diversification. As I said, you want to spread out your risk while simultaneously pursuing multiple dreams and linking them all together under one umbrella. So you want to come up with a list of 10, 15, 20 dreams that you have. And then instead of you going off in all these different directions, you want them all to be here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and they're all under the same umbrella. And what's that umbrella is me, Inc. I am the CEO of Monroe Mann, Inc. If you're interested, there's a TEDx talk that I did on this exact topic. You are the CEO of me, Inc. You can search YouTube for Monroe Mann TEDx Jefferson University, and you'll find this TEDx talk where I talk about this concept of me, Inc. The success, how this works, but the synergistic diversification, the success of any one project leads to the success of them all. Look at this. I'm doing my YouTube live streaming. I talked about the fact that I do work on Upwork and Wyzant. So some of you may be able to find me there and say, oh, do you do coaching? Oh, do you do YouTube coaching? Oh, can you help me with time management? Can you help me start a business? The answer is yes. I just mentioned my books, Successful New Year, this one, and Time Zen, all in this live stream. I also mentioned in this live stream my TEDx talk. In my TEDx talk, I end up talking about my books, and I talk about me being an actor. The idea is everything that I do is connected. So if someone goes to my TEDx on YouTube and they didn't know about my YouTube channel, they're probably going to eventually find out that I do a YouTube because everything is linked. And I'm urging you, don't listen to those people that tell you, just pick one thing and focus on that one thing. Now, people tell me, Monroe, if what you're saying is true, shouldn't you be Elon Musk right now? Shouldn't you be Bill Gates? Shouldn't you be Tom Cruise? Shouldn't you be a huge success story? The answer is not necessarily. Because it's easy to look at success stories and go, oh, that worked for them, so that's going to work for me. You have no idea. You could say, oh, well, what worked for Tom Cruise was to just focus on acting exclusively. And he became a star. You know how many people focus on acting exclusively and they end up getting evicted because they don't make any money? The majority of people who try to pursue a career in acting end up not getting anywhere. The majority of people who try to start a business, their business ends up failing. How many people do you know who used all of their life savings to start a restaurant or to start a tech company or to start other venture, and they did not succeed? Even if you don't know somebody, I'm telling you, the statistics are like 99%. Most restaurants fail, most businesses fail. So if you think about that, that's a statistic. Why would you take all of your time, energy, and money and focus it on one gamble? And the truth is, most big projects that you do in life, are a gamble. Going to college is a gamble. There's no guarantee you're going to graduate. There's no guarantee that it's going to give you a job. It's no guarantee that you're going to make more money than you invested. Doing a YouTube channel is a gamble. Writing a book is a gamble. Doing these TEDx talks were a gamble. My company, Breakdiving, is a gamble. Me spending a lot of time every day now on LinkedIn pitching people to join Breakdiving is a gamble. That happens to be a gamble that's paying off because I've got 2 people to join breakdiving who I didn't know at all. And they joined breakdiving from my efforts on LinkedIn, which is pretty cool. But the whole idea is I don't know what is going to result in success. And anyone who tells you that is lying. There's no magic ball that says this restaurant is going to succeed. This movie is going to be a blockbuster. This YouTube strategy is going to work. You don't know. Just yesterday, I was doing a live stream and somebody came on who's a big YouTuber and said, I'm starting to think that the reason channels don't grow is they're not specific enough. And that the channels that really grow are the channels that are very focused. And he said, Monroe, I think you need to break up your channel into a music channel, an inspiration channel, a political channel, and it's all speculation. He doesn't know. Nobody knows. What works on YouTube today may not work tomorrow, just evidenced by the fact that I used to have at least 15 people on every one of these live streams, sometimes 50, sometimes 400. And now, for some reason, in the last week, it's dropped down where I've got like 3 to 10 people. I don't know why. But this is, in my opinion, I think it's good that I'm doing different types of streams because it's diversification, but I synergize it all together under the Monroe Mann umbrella. So let me keep reading. And again, if you're wondering, I'm reading from my book, Successful New Year. Now, in other words, I'll just go back a little bit. Well, I'll read this whole paragraph again. Since we don't know what projects are going to succeed most quickly, it makes sense to spread our energy into a number of different projects, hoping that one of them will take off like a rocket. This makes sense because while most of us believe we know with certainty that our project is going to succeed, the reality is that there's no way to know until we try. In other words, it's far better to invest $20,000 each into 5 projects with the hope that even one of the projects succeeds than it is to invest $100,000 into one project that ultimately fails. However, there's a flip side to this. If each project is compartmentalized and totally separate from the others, you truly will be going off in multiple unrelated directions, become disoriented, lose focus, and probably screw up all of the projects. Therefore, instead, your mission is to link every single one of your projects so that each one is related to all the others. That is the synergistic part. In this way, whichever project you happen to be working on today, is directly also helping the other projects you're pursuing as well. Further, when one project takes off, because all the projects are linked, all of the others take off as well. Think about this. If one of my TEDx talks magically gets 500 million views, don't you think that my YouTube channel is probably going to grow as well? Don't you think more people are going to buy my books? Absolutely. If all of a sudden my YouTube channel has 1 million subscribers, don't you think more people are going to end up buying the books? Don't you think more people are going to want to hire me as an attorney, as a motivational speaker, as an author? Let's go. If all of a sudden I take off on Upwork, I mean, this whole thing is, don't compartmentalize things. People say that you should compartmentalize. In this case, you don't want to, because you want to make sure that no matter what succeeds, no matter which one of your efforts takes off, that is the thing that launches everything. Let me do a poll question. Let me look at some of the comments. Hi, Barsam. Hi, Nelson. J. Ma's doing nothing today. Do the opposite. Okay. Nelson says, my wife's helping me to apply online and I'm going for interviews. Well, that's fantastic, Nelson. I'm very proud of you and happy for you. You know, you may want to check out Upwork. That's not easy either. It's hard to make these pitches and get people to book you. But while you're out of work, you can make some extra money on there. Check out Wyzant, W-Y-Z-A-N-T. That's a tutoring site. Maybe you can help tutor people. St. Lazarus says, for God so loved the world that he gave his one and only son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish but have eternal life. That is an excellent quote from John 3:16. J-Ma says, hope is cap. Even Camus said it. Like the movie with Jim Carrey, Yes Man. He said yes to everything, but it's better to do the opposite. Just say no to everything. And J-Ma, you're right and I'm right. It's also important to say no to everything, because you have to make sure that you're not overextended. But I think most people have a problem of saying no too often than saying yes too often. I think more people lose out on opportunities because they're too scared than they are getting into trouble because they say yes too often. Either extreme can cause you problems. If you say yes to everything, you're going to get into very bad business deals. If you say no to everything, you're going to lose out on every single opportunity. You have to find the happy medium. But I generally believe that you're better off. If you have to err on the side of caution, I would err on the side of saying yes than saying no. As it's often said, you generally tend to regret longer the things that you didn't do rather than the things that you do. So if you say yes to everything, you might regret a lot of the things you do, but you're probably going to regret that less than if you say no to everything and then on your deathbed you go, I can't believe I did nothing in my life at all because I said no. At least the person who says yes to everything has a lot of stories to tell and has a lot of adventurous tales to share with others. Someone who says no to everything, so tell me what you did this year. Nothing. Because I say no to everything. Or tell me what you did this year. No, I will not. Because I say no to everything. It's a much better, or rather, tell me what you did this year. Oh my gosh, I say yes to everything. So I'm going to tell you this story. Oh my gosh, someone said I should go move to Fiji. I did. Somebody told me I shouldn't pay my taxes. I did that. Somebody told me that I should go out with these girls. And I did. Guess what? All of those things are going to give you stories to tell. And your life will be a heck of a lot more full. And the likelihood is that you're going to end up stumbling upon something that leads you in the right direction. But if you say no to everything, you've got nothing. Absolutely nothing. I want to do a poll right here. Do you find this life Just curious to see what you guys think. Let me see what some more of these comments. And what else we got? J Ma says, don't subscribe to this guy. Just blabbering. All Thursdays is too much commitment. I don't even know what that means, Robert. Great job, Nelson. I'm happy to hear that. That's wonderful news. Say hi to your wife for me, too. Linnea says, ha, ha, ha. Robert says, simpleton. Linnea says, they say a sneeze is a sixth form of an organism. Interesting. Very interesting. And Linnea's just bought a house this year. Have to fix the heating before winter. Well, congratulations. You've got a good target. The good news is you've got a lot of time before winter. So that's good. What's up, Oliver? Sia. Oh my gosh. Sia and Oliver, the two Denmark fans, are here on the same live stream at the same time. Sia and Oliver, I hope you guys can say hello to one another. Oliver says, nothing's promised in this world. Good. And Adebe teacher's here. Good evening. Hello. So an example of this will help. This idea of synergistic diversification. If you choose write a book, start a business, and study abroad as your 3 goals for this year, that's diversification. They have nothing to do with one another. Writing a book, you're sitting by yourself in your computer. Start a business, you're networking with other people out and about. And study abroad, you're getting on an airplane and you're going to live in another country. But when you augment that to write a book about studying abroad or start a business that helps people study abroad and promote my book and business while I'm abroad, suddenly those 3 things are all synergized. So you took 3 very different business ideas or 3 very different dreams, and you came up with a way to bring them all together. So remember, before it was write a book, start a business, and study abroad. Then we changed all 3 of them to write a book about studying abroad, start a business that helps people study abroad, promote my book and business while I'm abroad. That is what synergistic diversification is. Each project is linked to the other one. So let's get to work. It's time for you to get off your butt and create your umbrella. And you think, well, what's that umbrella I'm talking about? Well, let's keep reading. Your umbrella is essentially Me Inc. As I talked about, I did that TEDx talk about you are the CEO of Me Inc. And underneath that umbrella corporation, you'll place all of your synergistically diversified projects. This week, your first task is to read the article by The Brand Called You by Tom Peters. You can find that on the Breakdiving blog. Search for The Brand Called You Breakdiving on the internet, and you'll find this really great article. Or you can go to breakdiving.blog. Your second task is to write down on paper at the top the words Me Inc. So if your name is Adebe Teacher Inc., Jamie 6 Month Inc., Oliver Inc., Nelson Duenas Inc. Good morning, Jamie. Then underneath Me Inc., you need to write out every single project that you have for this year. Every single one. You should have already done this if you were watching the Successful New Year streams from before or if you've read the book. Then your next task is to link every single project together. Your task is to link every project together. For example, if you're working on a book, a film, and a degree in accounting, here is one way that you would link those 3 together. The book discusses accounting, or at the very least includes your biography and shares that you're working on a degree in accounting. The book lets people know that you're creating a film and provides the website in the book. 2, you make your film about an accountant, and in the film, the character reads and discusses your book. Number 3, while studying the degree in accounting, you can use the study time as research opportunities for both the book and the film. You can also hand out promotional cards to your classmates about both your film and your book, if that makes sense. See how this works? Nothing is compartmentalized. It's all linked together through the synergy you create under the umbrella of Me, Inc. By the way, Debe, I wanted to ask you, did the number of people coming to watch your live streams drop a lot in the last week? I mean, last week I had one live stream with 1,000 views. Now I've dropped down to 3 people, 4 people, 5 people watching. Now, look, there are 2 people watching right now, Jamie and Debe. Ay, gosh, this is brutal. This is hard. This is hard. If any of you guys saw what was going on the last 6 months, and then suddenly we've got 2, 3, 4 people, it's really, really extremely frustrating. All right. But anyway, I want you to think about what can you do to synergize all. So we talked about the last couple of streams on this series of Successful New Year. Think really, really big. Make a lot of dreams. Then get very specific with them. Don't say, I want to be an actor. It's got to be, I want to be paid $5,000 a month by acting in rated R or below feature films, and that allow me to travel around the world. Suddenly, now that is very specific. You know that you're not going to be moving to New York City to pursue Broadway. You know that you want to look for films that have international opportunities. Thanks, Jamie. What's IPL, Debe? What's IPL? And Jamie always knows how to cheer me up with a super chat. That's the pick me up for any YouTube live streamer. Give them the super. Look at this, Jamie. Where the heck is everybody? 4 in a row? I mean, that's something else that's weird. I mean, look at this. It was Athena, Walal, Eternal, Saku, Big Kep. Now Jamie. I mean, that's very, very weird. So, Davey, what is IPL? Does anyone else know what Dave's talking about with IPL? Because I certainly don't understand. So as I was saying, you've got your big dreams, you're getting them very specific, and then today, this week, I want you to, it has to be Indian Premier League. That's fascinating. Debe and Funny and Insightful says it has to be Indian Premier League. I didn't think about that either, to think that that's true. India has 1.4 billion people. And maybe if they're all watching television because there's a cricket tournament on, maybe that could be it. That's very, very fascinating. But the question is, where are all the people from Europe? Where are all the people from the United States? Where are all the people from Asia? I mean, I know India has a lot of people, but there are a lot of people in Europe and Africa and the United States as well. But I think that is true. I think that's the other thing. On my statistics, if I check statistics, analytics, audience, yeah, this has been terrible. Look at this in the last month. This is returning viewers. There were a lot of returning viewers in the beginning of the month, and now look at that. It's gone down to nothing. Number of new subscribers this month is down by 72. Let me see. And that's the other thing. Views last 28 days, 60% are from the United States. 4% from the United Kingdom, 4% from Canada. India is only 2%, which means the Indian Premier League doesn't explain it. Because I can tell you this, 60% of Americans do not watch the India Premier League. So I don't know what that's about. Funny and Insightful says, if you want to jack up your views and subs, all you have to do is learn how cricket works and give Renew analysis of cricket matches happening in the Indian Premier League. All Indian and Asian countries will flock up. Well, that's fascinating. Maybe that's something worth looking into. Maybe I'll become a cricket expert. Hey, Catherine. Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. Great to see you. All right, so what do you need to do this week is look at your list from last week. Whatever you didn't do, transfer it over to this week. Start this new week afresh. Get off your butt. Make things happen. And remember to use 5-minute tasks. Don't try to create really big tasks. Create very small tasks that you can accomplish within 5 minutes, because those are what are going to help you get moving and create a lot of momentum. Davis says people from all over the world join the IPL. Yeah, but doesn't the IPL happen all the time? It's not just like today, is it? It's not just this month. Or is it just 1 month? Is it just the month of March? That's what I don't know. One thing I'm curious, I'm going to try to find out is when June comes around. That's when I really started doing live streaming, was last June. And I was getting massive numbers of viewers. And there was a speculation that it was because there were so many people out of school. So everybody around around the world had summer vacation. And so they were able to then tune into the live stream. So I'm curious to see if in May or June, things start to skyrocket. The quotation of the week, ladies and gentlemen, is from Aristotle. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts, which is good advice in two ways. First, this idea that we're talking about with synergistic diversification, that's the whole idea. When you synergize things, the whole becomes the greater than the sum of its parts. But the other way to look about this, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts, is even with this YouTube thing. I can't let 1 month or 1 week get me down. I mean, this is really depressing that it says there's one person. Now it says there are 0 people watching. I haven't had it say 0 people watching in a long time. And this week I've had it say 0 people watching multiple times. And it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Why would there be 0 people watching? Why is there 1, 2, 3, or even 4 people? What happened to all of my old subscribers? Why do they not tune in anymore? And Jamie says lies, and Oliver's here again. So good, at least there are 2 people here. It's annoying that it says that there are 0. But I have to look at the whole is greater than the parts from Aristotle. And don't get focused on one live stream. Don't get focused on 1 week. Last night was tough too. I did a cover song concert. Usually the cover song concerts bring in a lot of people. I got 200 views. I didn't have more than 7 people watching the entire time. Same thing with this. We haven't had more than, I think, 8 people here in this live stream. But got to stay positive. Remember, the whole is greater than the parts. You cannot give up because you get a bad week. YouTube ultimately is just about sales. Or at least I would say it's the stamina of sales, because I'm not even getting an opportunity to sell what I'm doing if there's only 3 people here. Um, Oliver says it was great. I'm not sure what you're talking about when you say it was great. Debe says it's going to be like this for a month. People from all over the world. Well, that's very interesting, Debe. I hope you're right. I'm hoping you're right that it's about Indian Premier League. You're the first person to tell me this, and also the other member. I forgot that fan's name, but super annoying. Let me ask ChatGPT. Let's find out about the Indian Premier League. We're all going to learn about cricket today. Hey, what's up? I'm on another YouTube live stream, and the number of viewers has dropped precipitously over the last week. And 2 of my fans on my live stream today, I've only got 3 people watching, say that it's because the Indian Premier League is going on, and they say that it's going to be like this the whole month. Can you tell me what the Indian Premier League is, and do you really think that's a reason why the number of live stream viewers has dropped dramatically?
Hey, the Indian Premier League, IPL, is a professional 2020 cricket league in India. It's hugely popular and attracts a lot of viewers, not just in India, but globally. Since cricket is a massive sport there, major events like the IPL can definitely affect viewership for other live events, including YouTube streams. It's quite possible that the IPL is drawing a lot of attention right now, leading to fewer viewers for your live streams. It might just be a temporary dip in viewership due to the IPL's popularity. You might see an increase again once the season wraps up.
How many people tune in for the IPL, and when does the season wrap up?
The 2024 Indian Premier League attracted over 620 million viewers on JioCinema, marking a 38% increase from the previous year. The season began on March 22, 2024, and concluded on May 26, 2024. So, if your viewership has dropped, it could definitely be due to the IPL's massive popularity during this period.
But is there an IPL game every single day?
Not every day, but the IPL typically has matches several times a week during the season. Usually, there are about 8 to 10 matches each week, with some days having multiple games. The schedule is packed during the IPL season, which is why it can draw a large number of viewers consistently. It can definitely impact viewership for other events during this period.
Can we know for sure that this is why the number of viewers has dropped, or is it something independent of the IPL?
While the timing of the IPL season and the drop in your viewership coinciding might suggest a connection, it's not guaranteed that the IPL is the sole reason for the drop. Viewership can fluctuate for a variety of reasons, including changes in your content, audience preferences, or even external factors like holidays or other major events. It could be helpful to look at trends over a longer period or gather feedback from your audience to better understand the cause. You could also experiment with different content or streaming times to see if it makes a difference.
So it's not a definite, guys. It is not a definite. We don't know exactly why. I love how it says I got 0 people watching now. Talk about an uppercut, YouTube. You're giving me 0 people watching. That's really stinky. Oliver says it was great. The yesterday's cover songs. Oh, Oliver, I'm glad. I don't remember. Did you speak up there? I'm sorry. I was kind of like in a weird mood because there was nobody watching or almost nobody watching. I don't want to criticize that. I was asleep when you're doing the cover song. I'll have to go back and watch it. Thanks, Jamie. Dabe says this is the daily match time. Aha. So maybe I got to find out when there's not a match and do my live streams at that time. Hi, Matt Lawton. Catherine is still in the hospital. I'm hoping you're feeling better. I hope you get better soon, Catherine. Everyone in the eastern half of the states are trying not to die in the tornadoes. David says what I say is true. Matt's watching. Thank you, Matt. I appreciate that. YouTube is a liar, says Jamie, and their pants were on fire. Been here the whole time. Matt Lawton says, it says there's one watching, but there are at least five. And I was there for 3 songs. You killed it on the mom song. Thanks all. Yeah, I thought that mom song, I think I did that really, really well. I was like, as I was singing, I was like, I did that song really, 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 really well. So, Davey, how do we determine? I have to determine when the Indian Premier League is not happening. Oh, does the Indian Premier League only happen once every 4 years? Is it like the World Cup? Let's ask again. Let's learn a little bit more about the Indian Premier League. Where in the United States can you watch the Indian Premier League, and how often does Indian Premier League happen? Is it every 4 years like the World Cup?
In the United States, you can watch the Indian Premier League IPL on various platforms, including Willow TV, a popular sports network that often broadcasts cricket events in the US. 2. GeoCinema. They have offered streaming services for IPL in previous seasons, so it's worth checking if they are available in your region. 3. ESPN Plus. Sometimes they provide coverage for cricket events. The IPL happens every year, usually between March and May, not every 4 years like the World Cup. It's a domestic T20 cricket league in India and is held annually, so it's a regular event every year.
So, but I don't understand this. It doesn't make, here, let me end this poll. I don't understand how, does this, if this is because of Indian Premier League, shouldn't YouTube let us know and say, hey, you're not going to be getting a lot of viewers from March 22nd through all of April because of Indian Premier League. So I can't imagine that there aren't, I don't know. I'm confused. Dave says, be happy, Monroe. Yeah, I'm happy. I'm good. Everything's good. Remember, as Aristotle said, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. And this is from my book, Successful New Year by Monroe Mann. All right, so final paragraph. Your Me Inc. umbrella needs to be reviewed regularly, at least every 6 months, because your life is constantly changing. If you do not synergize properly, you're wasting valuable opportunities to cross-promote and cross-develop your projects. Synergistic diversification allows you to get far more done in far less time, simply through more efficient use of your time and resources. For now, just focus on creating a first draft of your Me Inc. synergy. The more synergized, the easier everything will be. So do so below. And in the book, there's just a space here for you to create your Me Inc. umbrella right under here. At home, just write out your name at the top, like Monroe Mann Inc. And underneath, write every single one of your projects. For Jamie, I know some of them could be my kids, my eBay page, my eBay business, my door dashing, my day job working at the electronics factory, and whatever else, other things that you have going on. Put down every single thing that you're doing in your life. And then the mission is how can I use door dashing to help promote the other ones or help the other ones? The door dashing clearly is a benefit because it helps as a buffer if for whatever reason you lost your other job. Your other job at the electronics factory is a buffer in case the door dashing slows down. I mean, I've been a big fan of multiple streams of income forever. Ever since I was walking down the streets in New York City. And I remember the exact garbage can. I was walking down the street. This was in Union Square, between Union Square and Astor Place. And I was walking and closer to Union Square, and it was on Broadway. And I suddenly saw, I went to throw something out in the garbage can. And in the garbage can, I saw there was a book. And I said, what the heck? And I found this book, and it was brand new, called Multiple Streams of Income. And it was an epiphany to me. And I thought, oh my gosh, God is anointing me by giving me this book today. And to this day, it's had a great impact on me. And I recommend you read the book, but the basic concept is don't rely on one stream of income. In other words, diversify your streams of income. And that's kind of how this idea of synergistic diversification came about, because I want you to diversify not only your streams of income, but diversify your streams of dreams as well. Your dreams need to be diversified as well, because not every single one of them is going to come true. And I don't want you focusing and spending all your time and energy on the one dream that fails. It doesn't mean that you can't stubbornly pursue a dream year after year after year. I've been doing that with breakdiving, and I've been doing it with YouTube for more than 20 years. 19 years for YouTube and 26 years for breakdiving. The idea I came up with in 1999. But I am not blindly focused on just YouTube and just breakdiving. I have a lot of other irons in the fire. I am diversified. And even with the income thing, I was just talking about, for those of you that came late, I'll just kind of tell you what I said earlier. By planting lots of seeds of hope, they end up planting at the most opportune times when you need them the most. I've been on the Wyzant tutoring site forever, and my rate on there is $175 an hour. I don't get hired a lot there, but every once in a while somebody reaches out, and I just got hired to be a public speaking coach for $175 an hour, which is fantastic. And the same thing, I've been applying to these jobs on Upwork. A job that I applied to 3 weeks ago, I had 2 interviews, and then I heard nothing from them. Now they are, they just said, hey, Monroe, after interviewing everybody, we want to move forward with you, and that'll be $50 an hour. And I'm slowly working my way up to being a top-rated talent on Upwork, and at that point, then again, it'll be like Wyzant, where jobs come to me. And you know what? Just having this conversation with you, it reminds me maybe I should be going, when people post a job on Wyzant, instead of me just waiting, maybe I should go on there and reach out. I'm going to go on to Wyzant today and see if I can convince folks to come to hire me. Because I get hired on Wyzant, but I'm just waiting for people to come to me. I should be more proactive. So plant seeds of hope. So let me read these comments. Jamie says, you know my projects better than I do. That's right, Jamie. See, I listen. But Jamie, that's the exact point. Somebody else should not know your projects better than you do. All of you guys should spend your time today and write them down. Write down what are all the projects you're working on in 2025. Then I want you to think even bigger. I want you to get more specific. I want you to synergize each of those projects so that one success will lead to the success of all of them. I'm working my butt off with this YouTube channel, you guys know. Even when the going gets really tough, I haven't given up, and I don't think I am going to give up. I give my all when there's 50 people watching or when there are 4 people watching. At least I think I do. I'm sure the energy is probably a little bit greater when I've got 50, 100, 300 people, because there's a lot of adrenaline there. But I still recognize you guys as valuable fans and people who I want to entertain. And gosh, it seems like I got to do an even harder job of keeping people, because look what's going on with this algorithm. It's causing even more problems. But we got to look at the bright side. I got one more subscriber, 5,519, which brings me back to where I was yesterday. Yesterday, I got to 5,519. It went down to 5,517 before I started the stream. Now we're back up to 5,519. Ooh, it's tough. That's right, Oliver. When the going gets tough, the tough get going. That's a great song by Billy Ocean. When the going get tough, the tough get going. Sometimes you need to, you know what I talk about, it's important to have a good plan, and it's important to be stubborn in pursuit of that plan, as long as the plan is still good. I mean, I'm being very stubborn with the pursuit of my plan with YouTube as I just keep doing live streams. I don't care what time. I don't care what topic, whatever interests me at the moment. And that's right. Shout out to Billy Ocean. By the way, I think my muscles are getting larger. I don't know if you see, but I think my tricep is bigger than it used to be. Look at that. The tricep's kind of going out to the side. See, my fitness live streams are synergized. I make some money. I get to do fitness with you guys. You guys motivate me. My tricep is getting bigger. My tricep is getting bitter. Freudian slip right there. My tricep is getting bitter. 'Cause I spend less time on Twitter. Nodi Kajal is in the house. We have Rohit in the house. Davis says, Kajal, where are you from? Yeah, Kajal, aren't you supposed to be watching the Indian Premier League? Wouldn't it be funny if the game ends like in 2 minutes and then suddenly in 2 minutes there are 40 people in here because all the people who were watching the Indian Premier League game show up? Man, all right. So my summary here, because I'm gonna end this live stream in a little bit. Of course, synergistic diversification. We've been talking about that for the whole stream. Don't give up when the going gets tough, as Oliver said. If you've got a good plan, stick with it. My plan is to keep doing these live streams, regardless of how many people are watching. And it's tough, but I'm persistent and I'm stubborn, and it served me well. Same thing with breakdiving. Breakdiving, 26 years. I think I'm starting to figure it out because I'm using LinkedIn now to do marketing, and I got 2 people to join breakdiving from LinkedIn, from Miami. So we got 5 people who have joined breakdiving from the Miami area now. And when I get to 25, I'm going to start holding in-person events. Really excited about that. And if it starts to grow here in Miami, then that's the plan to expand it all to other cities, to Fort Lauderdale, to Orlando, to West Palm Beach, to New York City, to Los Angeles, to New Delhi, to Tokyo, to Shanghai, etc., etc., etc. Christine says you're too young to be in a rocker. Wait, I need to get some. Here, wait. Do I have? Here, I'll put on my old man my old lady rocking chair glasses. Ready? Here we go. Hello, Sonny. I stream my YouTube live with sunglasses during the day. Well, I appreciate the poll from before where most of you were telling me that my live streams are entertaining and educational. I was feeling pretty down earlier because there was very few people here. Hey, new people who just joined, we need one more subscriber to get to 5,520. Can you please help? Can you please help? Actually, I don't want to be begging. I'm not begging. If you want to help, help. If you don't want to help, don't help. Oliver says, Monroe, man of your passion, drive, wisdom, and character. I'm sure more viewers will join eventually, but for now, I'm enjoying the streams. Oliver, just a comment like that is really all I need to keep going. And the occasional super chat from folks like Jamie. But it's just nice to know that there are people watching, and I appreciate that, and that what I'm doing is helpful. By the way, Oliver, I've never met you in person. Am I right? You just found me randomly here on YouTube? What's up, No T? And Peyton's in the house. Peyton, it's been a long time. Let me see. Does it say when Peyton was here last? No, you were last here on when Billy Bob Explains It All, when I said Adios Colombianos, Trump, Tom Homan, Rebirth of America with Billy Bob. And then you were on one with Make 2025 Awesome. Peyton said, stop saying oil up. And he said, wow, there are 30 people in the stream. Yeah, those were the days, Peyton, when I used to have 30 people in the stream. Never met, just found you randomly, but glad I did. Well, thank you, Oliver. The first stream was at Grand Central in New York City. Oh, gosh, that brings back more memories of when I used to have massive crowds here. Jamie says, I remember that one. Yeah, I remember that too. The Grand Central in New York City. I remember I was sitting, right? I was sitting like this, and there was the wooden bench behind me. Is that right? I was in my suit and tie. And then I was in there because the battery was dead. So I was kind of hunched over because I had a really short charging cord, and I had it charged into the charger at Grand Central in New York City. Yeah, Kajal, where are you from? Here, let's do a very important poll. Who wants to know where Noti is? Okay, let's see. Let's see what the poll says. But I'm gonna stay persistent. You know why I also like it too? It's kind of like therapy to me doing the YouTube live streams. So I talk about stuff that's going on in my life. I end up helping people on the live stream, which gets me out of my own head. And I inevitably, on most streams, I'll make a little bit of something, 99 cents, $1.99, $5. Every once in a while, you get like a 50 from Athena, who's disappeared recently. And looks like the poll is 100%. 100% of us want to know where Noti is from. Noti Kajal, speak up. Tell us where you're from. Right now, Noti Kajal. Noti Kajal. Peyton wants to know. Debe Teacher wants to know. Jamie wants to know. I want to know. Oliver wants to know. We all want to know. Let me see if Noti has a channel. Let me see channel activity. Wow, Noti has 9,000 subscribers. Noti's got 9,000 subscribers. That's impressive. How did you get up to 9,000? Very good. But Noti will not speak. Noti's 9,000 subscribers, but will say very, very silent. Oliver, why are you excited now? What are you excited about? Yeah, Jamie, Athena ruined the chat with insults, begged to be mod, became adored and modded, then disappeared. A big liar. A big liar. I think we have it up here. Don't we have that up here? Yeah, look. Athena, liar. Liar. Athena is a liar. And then, Jamie, Athena lied. And then monks. I don't know why V Pirate was talking about monks, but he was. Yeah, I want to know where Noti's from too. Come on, Noti. Noti's being really, really standoffish right now, and it's really peeving me off. What's up, Sami Mufaz? Who's cute? Who's cute? Noti? Noti Kajal. Noti Kajal. She won't tell anyone where she is from, but we know She's from India. She thinks she can hide where she's from, but we know she's from India. Her name is Nodi, a Nodi Kajal. She's from India. From India. The only thing is, we don't know where she's from in India. It's a very big country. A very big country. Pretty sure she was in V's chat quite a bit. My birthday was yesterday, by the way. I'm 17 now. Congratulations, Peyton. 17. You're not quite a teenager anymore, and you're not quite an adult. I don't know what the heck you are, Peyton. You are something in the middle. You are something in the middle. Jamie says, I have no idea what she's saying in her videos, though. That's the same thing when I watch Debe Teacher's channel. Debe Teacher has a channel, and let me just check out her channel. You know, Davey Teacher's channel is growing very fast. My channel is not. When I first met her like 3 weeks ago, it was like she had 5,000. Now she has 5,400 subscribers. Her channel's growing very fast. My channel growing very, very slowly. I don't know why. Why, Davey? Why, Davey? Why, Davey? Her name is Kajal. Oh, her name is Kajal. Oh, well, how do you know that? How do you name? Why? Maybe her name is Nodi. Nodi. I'm gonna call her. Her name is Nodi. It's not Kajal. 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 I got a new message on LinkedIn, which is good, which means I've got another connection who could potentially join breakdiving. I'm pretty excited about that. Well, all right, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you guys being here. Maybe I don't have the crowds that I used to have, but I have quality over quantity. Quality over quantity, and that is what's most important. Great to have you here, Debe, Olivia, Oliver, Jamie, Peyton, Sammy, Nodi, and everybody else. And I hope you have a great day. Matt says, patience, the crowds will come. Davey says, please. I don't know what you're saying please to. Oliver says, all love to you. You're amazing. Thank you. And I appreciate you at least spelling your right, but I'm putting you on the wall of shame, Oliver, because you forgot the apostrophe. It's not Y-O-U-R-E. It's Y-O-U apostrophe R-E. And don't think you're going to get away from it just because you shower me with compliments. Just because you shower with compliments, you are still on the wall of shame. Davey, why do you keep saying please? I have no idea what Davey is talking about. Yeah, Oliver, you should be ashamed of yourself. You should be ashamed of yourself for what you did. You know, I was in such a good mood. Thank you, Matt. I'm going to put you on the wall of accolade. That's how it's done, Oliver. Do you see that? Why are you apostrophe R-E? Matt Lawton knows what's going on. Matt knows what's going on. Matt knows what's going on. You know what's really weird? As a YouTuber, you get used to calling people by their full screen names. So if someone's Matt Lawton, I just keep calling him Matt Lawton, but his name is Matt. And after a while, it sounds weird to say Matt Lawton said, because this other YouTuber kept calling me Monroe Mann. Monroe Mann, Monroe Mann. And I said, dude, my name is Monroe. My name is Monroe. Even Bougie calls me that. He goes, what's up, Monroe Mann? Monroe Mann is in the house. Monroe Mann is in the Matt Lawton is a gentleman and a scholar. Yes, he is. And Oliver, I can't believe you. Oh, Nodi's back. Nodi, I will start calling you by your first name if you actually tell us what city you're from in India. Until then, you are just Nodi. You are 100% Nodi. Don't give me that baloney. My English is my second language. All right. Bye, Kajal. Bye, Davey. Bye, Oliver. Bye, Matt. Bye, Jamie. Everyone else. Did I forget somebody? I don't know. But I appreciate all of you guys. I appreciate you. This was a fun live stream. You know what I realized? It doesn't matter how many people are on the live stream. What matters is how much they interact in the chat. I think that's the bigger issue. I would rather have 5 people like you, but with this amazing chat where we're all having a good time, than 30 people, but nobody's talking. Debe, everybody knows you're from India. Everybody knows Debe teacher's from India. And very soon her channel is going to have more subscribers than me. It makes me very sad. I'm happy for her, but sad for me because I had more subscribers at first, but now she's overtaking me. All right. Bye, guys. See you next time.